What's up? Happy New Year. Happy New Year. It's a new year, 2022, randomly selected. If you rode out with us last year, we appreciate it. If you're a new listener, we appreciate that too. You can tell your friends to subscribe. You can get randomly selected wherever you get your podcast. This is a special edition of Randomly Selected as we look back at our favorites of 2021. This is a gentleman who very rarely talks, but today I am joined by the person that I affectionately refer to as silent producer, my man Stephan. Hey,
what's going on, Mario?
You're talking.
We are here.
Unbelievable.
You officially got me to speak up.
I can't believe this. What a great day in Black history.
Oh, man. Silver Room history, Chicago history, all sorts, man.
You're talking.
We're here, bro.
You're also a very accomplished DJ. Please give your bio to people.
Man, I mean, real quick, 20-ish years of music, DJing in the streets and not in the streets.
Out in the streets?
Yeah, out in the streets.
Wow.
Audio engineer, taught music for 10 plus years.
Yeah.
Been with Silver Room for about a year and a half now. I've known Eric for a while. Shout out to the Block Party.
Shout
known
out
you
to
for a while.
Eric.
Shout out to hip hop.
Yeah. Hip hop's
So we're here though. We're here, man. It feels good.
It does feel good in the midst of the Omicron. Yeah, did I say it right?
Omarion.
I want to keep calling it Omnicron.
Omnicron. That sounds like something that like Mark Zuckerberg would buy.
Yeah, Omnicron.
Yeah, like it would be part of a Facebook like data analyst company. Omnicron.
It's almost like adding the S to Jewel.
Yeah.
I so want to call it Omnicron, and I have to call Jewel Jules.
It's always Jules.
I thought the name of it was
Come
Jules
on.
most of my life until I kept going digging. They're missing the S on the sign, Mom. Why is the S not on the sign?
Look, Jewel is an artist or something that you wear.
There you go.
Jules is where you go grocery shopping.
Go shopping.
Thank you.
And that's our episode. Thank you, everybody. No, so we did 20 episodes.
Yeah, man.
In a year.
In a year.
That's crazy.
It is.
That's crazy.
It is.
We've kind of messed around with the format a little bit and things that you all probably don't notice or you may notice. But with the guidance of Stephan and Angela and Eric Williams and folks giving their input and you guys responding to questions about the shows you like, we compiled a list of the favorite shows of Randomly Selected. So we're going to go through the 5 favorites first, and we'll talk a little bit about the shows that we personally liked and give you a hint to what's coming in 2022. Mm-hmm. And we appreciate you listening and all that good stuff. So should we begin?
Yeah, let's do it.
All right. I think this is where if we were like on the radio, it would be number 5.
Right? Number 5. Let's get the radio voice.
So our number 5, the 5 most listened to episodes of those, the 5th most listened to is with Godfrey the comedian.
Yeah.
Godfrey is an old friend from back in the Wicker Park days. And a little backstory about the episode. We had a hell of a time catching up with Godfrey.
Yeah, man.
That
was comedic in itself. to say
the least.
Yeah.
There was a lot of I talked to Eric Williams a lot. I think I never talked to him so much as I did trying to get Godfrey.
The line of communication between the 4 of us
it was a thing.
Was incredible. Those chat threads.
Yeah, man. I got them saved in my phone.
Same.
I got them saved.
Same.
In this episode, Godfrey talks about his beginnings. We talk a lot about our mutual understanding of each other and each other's work. He talks about Chicago, how he keeps that with him, and it's one of my favorite episodes because it's him. And I think his importance to the culture, for one thing, it can't be understated. His importance to Chicago, I think people who don't know that he's for real about being the north side of Chicago, his interactions with a lot of people here. It was really cool to talk to him. That was actually that was a Zoom. Because I think he was in New York or Vegas or somewhere.
Yeah, he had like a dentist appointment that he kept talking about.
Yeah, through the whole show. Yeah. And he also had just got off of the Versus where he, Spice Adams, and Affion Crockett killed the after party and he was Steve Harvey. So he
Yes.
went through the whole thing about that. It was a really cool.
It was like the weekend after that happened.
Yeah,
We
and he
got to
broke
talk
some
to him.
news, I think.
Yes, that they were supposed to be doing that going forward
Yeah.
for like any classic.
Yeah,
stuff,
that he'd be in on it. And so, let's take a listen to a little bit of that. It's Godfrey the comedian.
It's through I deal with it through the art form, man. You know, I try to I go, how am I going to talk about this? Because sometimes, you know, the Black plight is always served the same kind of way, just hard and boom, fuck that. I try my best to the different characters I do, like, hello everyone, Godfrey here. I try to do it through that, because a lot of times it's like a ventriloquist. A ventriloquist can say, suck my dick, but you'll think it's the puppet.
Right.
And it's really, I just said it, but they'll go, man, that puppet is dirty as hell. Like, I have my hand in the puppet's ass, and you literally just separated the fact. That's why ventriloquism is so amazing, because you're not moving your mouth. You go, suck my dick. Look at his hand, it's dirty. So I try to take it from the ventriloquist point of view. Well, if I do it in a character, they'll say, oh, that character is hilarious. And then with the character, you can sneak in stuff. Like I did one about Stacey Dash, about her black card will never be given back to her. But I was doing it in the accent. You know, I try to like Paul Mooney, when I imitate Paul Mooney, you know, I say, oh, you got your nigga wake up call. You got your nigga wake up call. You got your nigga, Stacey Dash got a nigga wake up call. Meghan Markle, you got your goddamn nigga wake up call. You know, but it's Paul Mooney. So they're not blaming me. Mm-hmm. They're not blaming me. Even though I should be able to just say, hey man, you know, white supremacy, blah, 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 blah. But you do it in a character, they don't really just blame you. They go, oh, the character, that's Paul Mooney saying that. Or that's that British guy saying that. Right. But it's really me saying it, but I try to express it, try to trick people. I don't know if it's such a trick, but I try to go through characters. Sometimes I just go straight off and say certain things. I say, oh, this needs to be said by me. Right. You know, but if I can do a character, you know, I can, you know, because there's stuff you can, and what's really sad is when a lot of times I spend time watching they got a lot of these interviews now. I don't know if you've seen it, where they have like the black, remember Tom Brown's journal, whatever?
Tony Brown's journal.
Tony Brown. So he has this other thing on, they just released these things from the 70s where it's like Amiri Baraka, it's all these like, this conference of black minds from the past. And it's like, they're like an hour and some change. It's different people. It's Amiri Baraka, this politician, and they're all talking in like a nice little round circle thing. And it's, when you watch it, you go, wow, nothing's changed. Like it's like you can watch stuff from the 60s and the 50s. You can watch Fannie Lou Hamer. You can watch all these people, and it's exactly the same shit. Not a damn thing is moved. The only thing different is our cell phones.
We're back, y'all. It's randomly selected as we look back at 2021 and get you set up for 2022. Setup's a bad piece of phraseology. We're not setting you up.
Ready.
Get you prepared.
Get you ready.
Get you ready.
Get you hyped.
You know what I mean? For 2022. It's going to be good. There's some cool stuff happening with this show and Sound Rotation and all the Silver Room Digital stuff. We'll talk more about that later.
Yes.
So the number 4 episode that is the fourth most listened to is the episode with Chef Eric Williams from Virtue. Yeah. And that was the first episode.
Very first.
Number 1.
Our introductory episode.
And it was right in the middle of Pandemic 1.
The height of it almost.
Yeah.
We were going into winter season. I remember it was like October or November-ish. We were going like right into holiday season. It was mega cold out. Chef Eric Williams had a gnarly cold.
Yeah, and I will admit it now. I was scared.
And none of us really even knew that he was sick.
Yeah.
So, like, he told us, like, you know, obviously, like, precautionary and just being a good human, he let us know. But, like, everybody, we were so spread out in that restaurant.
Yeah, it was
day.
Social distance like a motherfucker.
I had 50-foot XLR cables to record. I was in the corner. It felt like an actual, like, venue situation. You know?
Eric and I were sitting at a big table, like 1,000 feet apart from each other.
Dude, yeah.
And it was almost like I was interrogating him. I felt like I was that brother from the Spike Lee movie where, you know, you fucked up, don't you? how was that? Because our conversation was really intense.
It was. And it was like an inaugural kind of conversation to the podcast and randomly selected, and like every possible thing from like an engineer's standpoint that could be against you was there.
Yeah, and we filmed it.
We filmed it. Yeah, there was so many moving parts to that. But he fed us as soon as we sat down.
Man, listen, and that was just the appetizer.
That was a starter plate.
Yeah,
bro. Shrimp remoulade.
Yeah,
with
man.
the fried green tomatoes.
He knew it,
bro.
He's like,
he knew exactly what he
and
was
he kind
doing.
of like gave us the look like, yeah, these fools are hungry. Let me.
Yeah, he's like, y'all want something real quick? Any allergies? Nope. Yep.
No.
Let's go run it.
No, the answer is always no,
plates
chef.
came out. The plates came out, man. But let's listen to that real quick, man.
Yeah, and before we do, I had to wear my mask through the thing. I am one of those horrified people. And I don't like being sick under normal circumstances, if that's normal. And you could probably tell that I'm wearing a mask. But I happen to think this is one of my better interviews with anybody that I've ever done. Chef Eric really, he brought it home about the uprising that summer, about how the restaurant didn't get touched. I think we talked a little bit about seeing each other in the street during that time, how we were all kind of looking out for each other's businesses and whatnot. Me, him, Eric Williams, the other Eric Williams. But this is really cool. So let's take a listen. This is the number 4 episode of the Top 5 for Randomly Selected 2021.
I don't know if I could give you a concrete answer about how I feel based on the current conditions. Maybe a lighter lift for me is to unpack the intentionality of the messaging in the windows. So those messages went up the night that folk were boarding up. Many of us were anticipating looting in local communities after the looting had happened in Chicago's major business district. And I wasn't settled with the idea of boarding our windows up, because I feel like that makes a statement in itself. I understand that business owners wanted to be precautious. I understand that broken glass doesn't make anyone feel good. And the element of danger. Once one of those windows gets broken into, someone hurting themselves in an attempt to get what they deem to be goods or valuables, none of that has an outcome that I want to support. However, I've grown up in Chicago. I'm a native of our inner city, and I see far too many buildings that are boarded up in neighborhoods that are distressed, that have been left abandoned and divested. And we've invested a lot in this space. We've invested a lot in the Hyde Park community in even a short period of time. And so the idea of pivoting in a way that showed fear or abandonment didn't feel like a conscious decision that I could stand behind. So we quickly got some signs printed, and we felt like if someone was going to throw a brick through the window, that we wanted them to have imagery. We wanted them to have something that compelled them as they flung whatever object that they would fling through the window. Most people don't know that we took down all of our art in the building, with exception to 2 pieces. One of them is a Theaster Gates piece on the opposite side of the room, which is inspired by the race riots that happened in the 50s and 60s. And Theaster has a very broad practice, but in this particular sector of his practice, he took decommissioned hoses that were used during those riots to both torture and tame protesters. And so it's a very heavy piece, both figuratively and literally. And I felt like, if someone broke into the place and had, again, to be confronted by something, that is what I wanted them to be confronted with. The second piece we left up is also a heavier piece. It's an even heavier piece, sorry. And it is the piece that is to our left. And it's a piece that has Langston Hughes, the poet, who wrote many poems and thoughts surrounding the civil rights movement and moment. And he is sitting in this particular piece amongst friends, and what was also a very hostile time. And in looking at the portrait, it doesn't look like anyone is dealing with what they're dealing with because they're at peace with one another. And so if everyone abandons our communities when things are awry, and if everyone takes the position to close the shutters and batten down the hatches, what statement are we really making? Is it a statement of retreat, or is it a stance for the things that we believe in and the causes and the spaces that we want to protect?
Welcome back, everybody. Chef Eric Williams, thank you so much, brother, for doing that for us. We definitely will have you back on when we can actually have me not have a mask, and we get a chance to talk to you when you're not feeling so lousy. And we really appreciate everything you do for this neighborhood and for us. Thank you so much, man. Thanks. So the number 3 most listened to episode is an episode you were not involved in.
This is actually the only episode I was not involved in. I think I was either out of town or I had a gig going on or like something was going on, but it was during the virtual time still.
Yeah.
Zoom days.
Yeah. Another one of the early episodes too.
Yeah, we figured out how to record those in a good quality way. And I was really upset that I missed this one because I didn't know too much about this woman prior to coming into this environment here at the Silver Room. I heard the name.
Yeah.
I didn't know in depth.
Jacqueline Stewart, man, I've known her for a long time. When I started my radio life at the University of Chicago at WHBK, her husband.
HBK.
Yeah, man, say word.
Yes.
Her husband at the time was a very influential part of me getting involved in that. But I've known Jackie forever, right? And watched her children grow up, still watching them grow up. We talk a lot about her. My consternation was that I had to be the producer. I was horrified because I have very limited equipment. I knew what to do and I knew how to do everything. And you were an excellent teacher and being like, oh, don't worry about it. And I was just, it was not intense, but it was very focused because I was very aware of her time. And then I was like, yo, I cannot mess the audio on this one up because I'm not going to get a chance to do this again. Right. Another one that took a long time for us to get going because her schedule's real crazy. Right. But it happened, and it is really, honestly, I think I have 3 favorite ones, and this is in the top 3. I won't say which one is my favorite because that's not fair. But this one, she's so important, and she's such a cool lady. And it's really cool to have her on. This was big for the show. So let's go to it if that's cool.
Yep.
It's the number 3 most listened to episode of Randomly Selected, episode 10 with Jacqueline Stewart.
I have to do it. You know, I had a lot of friends, family who were like, oh, they're going to ask you to do that, aren't they? You have to be the one to do that. Listen, when I wrote my dissertation, which was on the earliest images of Black people on film, I spent hours, weeks, months, years studying the most egregious stereotypes of Black people on film, these like 19th century films. Chicken stealing, watermelon eating, smoking Black people out of their cabin, close-ups of old Ben laughing, all of this stuff that tried to keep us in this place of servitude and just vilified and ridiculed. And people have asked me over the years, how can you watch that stuff over and over again? But it seems to me that we have to really deeply understand the logics that created those racist representations if we're going to undo them. So Gone with the Wind is a film that I've taught, a film that I've studied. It's a film that's very polarizing. And it struck me that this was a moment when I could really apply all the things that I have been studying and teaching, you know, in the classroom and in my academic writing, and try to bring it to a larger conversation. And, you know, all of these debates about so-called cancel culture and the ways that talking about the problems of films is mischaracterized as canceling them. I wanted to provide a better model for what it means to really be like, what can I say, like a civil society. We have to have the capacity to have hard conversations with people who are different, who have different views. And movies bring all kinds of people to the table and really strong emotions. And it just seems like the ultimate platform for digging into things that folks, I think, increasingly know they need to talk about, but they don't have the skills or the experience doing so. And that was the thing that was most striking to me about the whole Gone with the Wind thing, is all the people that I heard from who kind of felt like, and white people, I always felt kind of uncomfortable with this. You know, I love the movie, but I know when this part happened, you know, and they just never had a real space to acknowledge those feelings about it, and then to have some intelligent conversation about it. And instead you just become defensive or whatever. So this was just, I think, a really important opportunity to say, let's just lay it out there. This is what it is. And how can we talk about it in an honest way?
It's randomly selected. We look back at the past year, the past 20 episodes. We painstakingly put together a list of the top 5. And this is number 2. The second most listened to episode of Randomly Selected is with From My Block, My Hood, My City, Jamal Cole.
Yeah.
That was something.
Man, and I mean, so we had an event in store first off to kick off his run.
At the Silver Room.
Yes,
right.
at the Silver Room. He had an event that Saturday morning. It was like 9 in the morning. His team was here at like 6. We had a whole live stream going on, recorded that whole thing. There was this whole event around it, and then to have him come in like a week later and sit down and do the podcast with us was dope, because there was so much high energy at that event. And then to kind of just come in by himself, like legit, him and his assistant, you know, our manager, campaign manager was here, who, by the way, is super cool. Shout out to cool campaign managers that are not
Thank you.
headsprung and all kinds of crazy, man. You know, super mellow.
They know who they are.
But man, you want to talk about some morning motivation, man. Like, you want to talk about like not needing coffee in the morning. You just go listen to that man speak.
Yeah,
man. You and I both walked out of here like
I was pretty fired up. G, I was like, "Yo, I was ready to vote." I think me, you, and Angela, all three of us were kind of.
I was cleaning around the office for no reason. Yo, this man had me charged, bro. I was stoked to do nothing.
I must say,
everything.
I have never had a person where you can see it. It's not phony.
Yeah.
I think that's what I like the most about him. It's not phony. He genuinely wants to be a good person and to do good. Right. And I think the best part about this was that it was him without any filter.
Yep.
And he was able to really speak his piece. And I thoroughly enjoyed talking to him. And we both mentioned afterwards, like, man, what does he want me to do?
Right. Exactly.
What does he want? I can go do it.
Right.
And it was very inspiring. This is one of my favorites.
Man, without a doubt. I mean, just from an overall standpoint, if this doesn't get you high, man, you got no soul.
And I think this is right when we figured it out. I think this is when we started to really get into a place where we were comfortable with how we do this.
Yeah, we started doing the 1st and the 15th instead of once a month. It was supposed to be a monthly podcast, and that's how we ended up with 20 episodes instead of 12.
Maybe we'll tell the story about the 1st and the 15th.
I think we should at some point.
We will, maybe.
Let's get back to Jamal Cole on this episode.
Word, this is the number 2 most listened to episode of Randomly Selected, episode 13, with Jamal Cole.
When the COVID-19 pandemic hit, I was just getting back in the country from France. I was in Paris I'm a public policy fellow at the University of Chicago. So we were in Paris for 3 weeks learning about how that city runs, how the infrastructure in the city runs, how the government runs. So I got back on the same day that the country was shutting down. And so my immediate reaction, facts. I got back. I could have been.
How you almost didn't make it in.
I could have been in Paris on University of Chicago dying for a year.
There you go. That would have been the worst thing.
Exactly.
That's a nice trip.
You know what I mean?
I got friends in Paris. I know what they tell me sounds nice.
You know what I mean? So I could have been out there. But no, I came back. And my thing was like, I live in Chatham where it's like 70% seniors. And so I'm trying to get hand sanitizer for seniors. And the first thought through my mind was, I'm going to go to Chase Banks downtown or whatever banks downtown and just, y'all got the hand sanitizer on this table. I'm taking it from I was only looking to get like 100 bottles, right? Yeah. But I started doing that and started posting on Instagram what I was doing. And then I got my team involved at M3. And we just started we started a COVID-19 relief fund. And we delivered. We had 8,000 seniors reach out to us from 12 different states. Wow. Right.
Wow.
And so basically, I called Rush Hospital and was like, hey, we have a lot of students that are out of school and we got seniors that need support. Can you train our students to make these wellness calls to the seniors? And they did it. The students started making wellness calls, doing contact tracing. They were connecting them to primary healthcare physicians, shipping the PPE out using Instacart, just real basic stuff. Oprah Winfrey got wind of it, gave us $500,000.
Wait, hold up. Wait. Oprah?
Yeah, she called me up, bro. FaceTime.
Oprah?
Facts, bro.
How come I can't get Oprah to FaceTime me?
Hey, man, Gail opened up my people. But she hit me up. She's like, man, how'd you start My Block, My Hood, My City? The brand is so dope. And they were like, hey, one of her assistants was like, yeah, Jamal's got this senior relief program. We want to give him $250,000. She's like, don't insult me. $250, give him $500,000 right now. She was like, Jamal, I was just in the backyard with Will Smith talking to you. Oh, Jesus. I was like, you trying to stun on me? I was like, you trying to stun on me? But Oprah, man, Gail, she's still supportive. Oprah supportive, man. And we hired over 120 students. That program is still going on today.
I've always wondered why the radio DJ people get the big voice guy. My friend is one of the big voice guys, Rick Party. Shout out to Rick Party, WGCI alumni. Rick Party does the voice for Sports Center. This is Sports Center. And so he's a big voice guy. But all the big voice guys, when I was coming up, they'd be like, number one. And all that. Like, shut up. Just number one's fine.
You know Chris Tannenhill.
Yeah, Tannen's my man.
So that's
Hip Rocks.
Right, that's Hip Hop Project.
Yes,
that's who I got the baton from.
That's right.
The torch got passed.
Tanny's my man. That's
Same
one of the
thing.
best producers on the
and
planet.
we talked about him with Mr. Holmes was here.
That's right, when Lawrence was here.
Lawrence was here. So but Chris, man, Cosm Rocks. That's
my man.
That's where I really learned a lot about that big radio voice from, because like he was Hip Hop Project, but he could also lead the group. So I mean,
you know how I met him? Him and his partner, whose name I can't remember, from the radio show that they used to do. I was up at Sub T, and I was just sitting there, and somebody asked me a question. I started talking, and he turned around and he went, "You're Mario in Hyde Park," because I would call the score all the time. He's like, "You're Mario in Hyde Park." I go, "Who are you?" And I went, "Tannehill?"
Yep.
And he goes, "Yeah."
The voice.
So he heard my voice. He recognized my voice.
He's good, man.
He's the best.
That's why he's doing what he's doing, man.
Speaking of the Wicker Park days.
And the best.
Yeah, he's the best, for sure. Shout out to Chris Tannehill and Lawrence Holmes, my man. Speaking of the Wicker Park days, the number one episode was birthed in Wicker Park. It's the episode we did about the Silver Room Block Party. Ooh. It's where we made some news.
Ooh, we broke some news.
Yeah.
We broke some feelings.
We hurt a lot of people's feelings. We found out that, I'm not going to say this reporter's name, but we found out he didn't really listen to the whole episode. He just wrote about the parts he wanted to write about.
He clickbaited our headline.
He fished us.
We see you.
Yeah, he fished us.
It's all good, man.
The episode is episode 4, the Silver Room Block Party episode. And
yeah, man.
And Eric Williams.
Our Eric Williams.
The other one, without the K on his Eric.
Yeah.
was here. And we go through the whole thing all the time about how we know Eric. We drop his name a lot. And, I will say the block party, particularly Eric Williams, saved my life. And we'll get into that one day. I don't want to do that now. But the event itself is so important. It's important not so much for the city. It's important for the people, man. It's just like, this is the day that you can air it out.
kick it.
And really kick it and be amongst the people in an environment that is conducive to furtherance. That's the best way I could put it about Block Party. So Eric came in, he talked. It's the most listened to episode, which I still think, we could have went another half hour just talking.
That whole conversation could have just kept going. We could have had 3 parts to that.
Yeah.
I mean, and what was the funniest part to me about that episode was how reluctant Eric was to do it, low-key. He was low-key like, nah, I don't want to do it. I don't want to get interviewed. I don't like to talk a lot.
As soon as you turn the mic
Man,
on.
that mic, we said, we're on. It was over.
It was on and popping.
It was so natural.
Yeah, he had a ball. There's another announcement coming about Block Party. It won't be me doing it. No, I won't do that. But it's coming. There will be. I can say that there will be a Block Party in 2022, unless, of course, the Space Giants virus or the Ultraman, whatever they call it, is still prevalent.
Starts doing R&B dances on us.
Yeah, please don't.
In Black Tims.
On TikTok.
All Black Tims.
All Black Tims. Provided
Jodeci joints. Sorry, let's go.
Provided that we aren't crippled again by any variant, there will be a Block Party in 2022. That's for real. And there's so much I want to tell you, but I can't. I'll let Eric Williams do that when it's appropriate. Maybe he'll do it again on this show. Maybe he'll do it on Sound Rotation.
Breaking news.
Man, it'll happen. But this is the #1 most listened to episode of Randomly Selected. It is episode 4. Wow. I thought that was later than 4.
We went right in.
It's episode 4 with Eric Williams, the Silver Room Block Party episode.
As much as I know the importance to everybody, including myself, actually, this is not something that we put together in a month or 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 or 6. I kind of give myself a break the 3rd Saturday in July. That 3rd Sunday in July, I take a little break. Normally the next week, I'll take a break with my daughter. We'll go drive somewhere, go on a trip, we'll visit people, come back, the store's still, the end of summer. Usually mid-September, we kind of back on it again, making a deck to send out to get sponsorships, even just thinking about who you're going to book for the next year. Thinking about just the theme, which is always important to me. Talking to people about next year. So the conversation normally starts in September. October, November, by January, you working. And it's not just me. I gotta have the committee. You and then Rob and Ken and Susan, and Amy, and whoever else is working on this, and it's demanding. And as you know, no one's gotten paid from this. You guys have been just rocking with this just to do this, honestly. And so you got my friends who've been volunteering, and then me who's been spending tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands of dollars out of my pocket. I can't do that every year. So, at this point I was like, well, let me figure out how to monetize this. So that was last year, was figuring out how this could look differently, through sponsorship, through ticketing, through whatever mechanisms we can figure out to help pay for this. Let's figure that out. That's a lot of time because this festival is run differently than all the other festivals in the city.
Right.
We're not ticketed like, Lollapalooza or Pitchfork or Riot Fest. We're not hosted by a Chamber of Commerce. Usually you have these local entities that actually do these things. This is an independent festival that's free. It makes absolutely no sense.
Not at all.
It makes no financial sense.
We've all been saying that for years.
So when people say, well, how does it work? Well, and what happens is people always get this. Well, I assume that Mrs. Johnson helped pay for this. I assume that this business helped pay for this. I assumed. There's these assumptions, but at the end of the day, no one helps pay for this. So let me rephrase this. We get sponsorship. University has been supportive.
University of
Howard
Chicago,
Brown, the Trust.
Right.
So we have gotten some sponsors, but it's not enough to pay for the entire thing.
Right, because God knows my salary alone.
That's it right
Talk
there.
about anybody else.
So
Saying.
for me, trying to figure out how do you close this gap on a couple $100,000 basically, is you got to really go out and pitch. And I heard people say, "Oh, just get some sponsors." I always say, "Oh, you know what? Can you help me? Can you help me get sponsors?"
Right.
And they gonna run away.
Right.
So people tell you to do the work.
Yeah.
I'm like, man, I don't really want to do the work.
Right.
Actually, I have a life. I have my daughter. I have my business. I want to, go for a run. It's a lot of work, So I think coming into the last year, it was a sense of relief that we didn't have to do it. To be honest with you, I'm like, cool. You know what? I can have a a break. And again, the focus was, let's get this store up and running. None of this happens if 1506 ain't happening.
Yeah, for
There
sure.
ain't no grown folk stories. There ain't no summer series. There ain't no block party if 1506, the store is not happening, to pay for the stuff that we have to do, So I was laser focused on trying to get people to come back to the store, go shop online, come and buy stuff. And luckily, the customers were like, man, we're glad you're here. We're glad nothing happened to you through COVID, through everything that happened in the summer. And people were shopping.
Particularly when businesses all over the city were closing.
Exactly.
It was great to see that Silver Room was running.
Yeah, and people were shopping. So again, like my main focus for the 6 months after we reopened was just to get the store going, And then again, the other side of it too is like we had no idea what COVID was going to be.
Yeah.
So you can't ask somebody in October for money if people are dying, if people are like, don't know where they're going to be at. So I feel like, yeah, things are better now, but now you're going to start trying to plan an event in 2 months. There's no way. So for me, we got, things are getting better. You can't social distance at a block party. That's not going to happen.
No.
It, not just our block, any event.
Anything,
I don't know
yeah.
how you, that's not the nature of humans, is to gather. We gather, we hug, hey girl, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah.
All those things that we do that are in close proximity, that has to happen to be for it to be a magical event.
Mm-hmm.
And I don't see anything beyond that happening, except for that happening. So to me, it's like either you do it or you don't do it. And so until I feel like it can happen the way we know it's supposed to happen, I'd just rather not do it.
Welcome back to Randomly Selected, powered by the Silver Room. I said that a lot in the last year. Not bad. So those were the 5 most listened to. I definitely have others of the 20 that I really was super happy about and that I liked. I think it's hard to call one of them my favorite. The episode with Amara Enya.
That was great.
Dr. Enya is my girl.
The bridge story.
Oh, man. Yeah.
I saw the fear in your eyes come out that day, bro.
I still just even thinking about it.
I can see it now. It was great.
I'm not a big fan.
She
of
was
her.
awesome.
She was,
awesome.
and it was like one of her first opportunities to talk post-election. Although the election had, we've had recorded conversations before, she and I. She had been on the terrestrial radio show with me, but this is where she could really be like, talking about it. That was really cool. It's always good to have her around. She's a friend of the Silver Room, no doubt, a friend of Block Party.
Yes.
Having her here gave us a lot of cred. A lot of people listened to that episode.
They did.
And a lot of people told people, hey, have you guys checked out this podcast because of her?
I think that actually came in a strong 6 right under Godfrey.
I had to believe it.
Yeah.
I had to believe it.
Yeah, I was kind of surprised.
People really,
Yeah.
really, because they were reaching out to me like, yo, I just heard your...
We got a lot of feedback on that
a
one.
whole lot. And her importance to the city cannot be understated. So having her on was humongous. The interview with Lawrence Holmes.
Yes. Talked about him earlier a little bit.
Yeah, he's a mentor. So even though he's much younger and far more handsome than me, having him on was really important for me because I wanted people to understand why he's important. And he's killing it on the radio, and he's a friend, and he's a Hyde Parker again. So I'm glad that we did that. Design was dope.
Design was one of my tops too, man, just because being a hip hop kid, learning how much he had to do with so much of the hip hop culture, especially coming out of Chicago here, like his dealings with the Common album, and the cover art for that, to just the gallery space that he held here. And
you found out how much drinking I did hanging out with him.
how much kicking it.
I did not. I had totally forgot about the strong amount of hanging out that he and I did back.
But that was a fun episode too because he was probably one of the most laid back, I feel like most comfortable guests that we had, because within like a couple of minutes he realized like, oh, we're just catching up. This isn't like anything formal. And then it's just like he kind of sat back in the chair, literally.
I remember that.
And just
I noticed that too.
We just kind of cruised through that whole episode.
And I think it was really cool that Eric and him got a chance to see each other.
Oh yeah, on the way out.
So, that's a whole nother episode
Right.
with the two of them if
Right.
they talked, and just how much they mean to each other and the importance of both of them being in each other's life at that time back in the day. It was really cool.
You know what's funny though? Speaking of just to ping off that whole Eric thing, that happened a lot this season.
Yeah, man.
People were either just getting here and he was leaving, and they'd have that moment, or they had to leave and he was just getting here, and they had
or
that
he
moment.
would open the door,
Right,
stay
it's that
in.
staircase moment where it was just like, oh shit,
Yeah, Eric, what?
yeah, and then there's just this 5-minute exchange of like this high powered energy,
And I think you see how just my peer group, for lack of a better phrase, is really like the power people in this country and the world, man. Just the people that do stuff. Like we had Rochelle on, and we talked about Virgil. That was strong stuff. Having Brittany Carter on and just watching how it's starting to take off for her. It's like really starting to happen. Fritz Kagi. I mean, you know, we go through all 20 of them. I think my favorite interview I did is the one that I was surprised wasn't in the top 5, and that was with Large Professor. That's the night I just kind of knew what I was doing.
Yeah.
I didn't have to think about what I was doing because how I feel about him anyway. And I just kind of felt like I'm about to just walk in here and talk my talk and just let it go. And I had the pleasure of being able to catch him being vulnerable. And he was able to talk about that tribe, that lovely Electric Relaxation, and that lovely Midnight Marauders album, and all the hidden stuff that Tip has not released, and just getting him to be open in front of our first studio audience too.
It was our first live recording.
Yeah.
Kind of.
I
mean, they're all live technically, but like you said, studio audience.
Yeah.
At the store.
with the bell going off
Yeah,
and people coming
man.
in.
Yeah, man. That was incredible.
Eric watching the whole time. I'm looking at him like, man, I cannot F this up. I will never hear the end of this. It was really, it's important for the culture to have him speak. And like I said in it, and I don't remember it verbatim, but he's important, man. He is like important. It's Nas that he is responsible for. That is some strong shit.
Let's listen to that real quick.
I think we should. It's the episode that I think me and Stephan agree is our favorite episode. It's the Large Pro episode. What number was that? That had to be like 19, 18?
Yeah, 19, I'm pretty sure it was
We've
19.
done like 600 episodes that you all haven't heard. So we've only done 20 that you... But this is the one with Large Professor. Shout out to Large Pro and all the people on the East Coast. Thank you for holding us down. This is randomly selected.
Man, live at the barbecue. Just some wild, a wild bunch of dudes that just, graduated high school, all of that. We was supposed to be in college. You know what I'm saying? We wasn't supposed to be. So, I mean, it's just us with that youthful energy, wilding out, like all of that, and just putting it on wax. And man, like those times, it was perfect for our age group right then and there, just to be so vibrant and energetic. You know what I'm saying? We were just releasing that energy to the world, and they got it. You know what I'm saying? Like, we still to this day, like live at the barbecue, when I go overseas somewhere in France and just hear like and see the B-boys breakdancing to it, I'm like, man, this thing took on a whole other life of it. We bugging out, but like they, just the tempo, the record and everything. So just thankful for those times. But definitely Nas was in the fold.
We're back, man. Large Pro.
Shout out to Large Pro.
That
Look,
was good.
Let me just say that was on every level for me. Probably a life moment. From being a DJ, getting a DJ prior to that interview, him kind of giving you the little hip hop nod when he sees you juggle or throw on a joint, to then producing that episode, sitting down with him. He signed one of my records I got to take back home.
That was cool.
And have like a true like 5-minute build moment with the man where it was real genuine. And shout out to Angie Star Studios, our other silent producer, for capturing that moment for me.
That's
yeah.
There she is.
She's in the building.
Y'all can't see her.
Man,
She here, though.
that was all the heads were out. All the homies, all the heads were out that day.
Yeah, that's right.
All the heads came out, bro.
Vic was out.
K-Max was out with the
K-Max
homies.
was out.
Shazam, Bangles.
Bangles
came out, boy. Yeah, no, that was definitely one for the heads, man. That was definitely one. But my favorite one that sticks out outside of that one for me, and I say this knowing that this interview was gonna be dope, it excelled way past any expectations of mine, and that was another person I got introduced to through the Silver Room, Six Figure Dilla.
Man, Sherman
Dilla Thomas was an incredible human and just an incredible interview, bro. Cause like, he's got one of those voices that's not overdoing it and not too soothing, so it won't put you to sleep,
right? But
it's not too in your face, so
right.
it just hold your attention,
right?
And then on top of that, every piece of information he's giving you is about everything you want to know that you didn't know, or that you didn't know you wanted to know.
Yeah.
Man, bro, look, he came in here talking about Ukrainian village, and that's like one of the names. That's where I'm at.
That's where you're
and
at.
That's where he just, and I was just like immediate, like, bro, wait, what? No,
when he
no
talked
clues
about
of these things.
When he talked about the University of Chicago, almost went to Morgan Park,
Hyde Park, how that started, just all his encyclopedia of Chicago historical knowledge. And he is a Chicago historian.
Absolutely.
That he is the Chicago
right
historian
now he is.
for us. And
right
I mean, she's been on the Kelly Clarkson show.
Yeah, man.
He's been getting invited to every sports arena in Chicago. He's got custom jerseys.
I really need him to stop doing that.
Look, shine your light, bro.
No, shine your light.
You know what I mean? No. He's flexing. He's flexing.
I need the White Sox to invite me out.
Hey,
you know?
Yeah, no.
Get
that custom.
Get that Mario jersey.
That custom flat brim joint.
That's what I'm saying. It ain't gonna happen.
But man, Dilla.
What did you notice that I noticed? I think you noticed. He didn't have any notes.
None, not one.
There wasn't a piece of paper around.
Nothing.
He may not have any paper in his pocket.
He even put his phone away. He even I'm gonna put my phone away for this interview.
He is
no one really did that.
No.
But he's just like, yo, give me some water. He was coming from Calumet City, I think.
Yeah, Calumet Park or Calumet
Park,
City, something like that. Yeah.
And it was just like, yo, he just came in ready, but not like in a filtered way.
And
it was just very natural.
And it wasn't like, I know this. And
he's just like, this is where Chicago is.
Yeah.
It's dope. Check it out.
I think his appearance is the one. I remember when he was saying, how come people don't want me to come on their TV or to come on their radio stations? And I hit him on Twitter, like, come on my show at Lumpin'. And he did. And I've been a fan of his anyway. But that day when he came on and talked on the radio, that's when I was like, this dude is different. And then when it was brought up to me, I think by you, like, yo, man, we should get Dilla on. I was like, oh, hell yeah. There's no reason to not have him on. And
that's the other silent producer, too.
Yes.
On that one.
Down
the pipeline.
Almost said your name.
You did.
Did I say Angela?
Angela.
Yeah, I did.
Angela.
Look at her. Don't want to say nothing. When the both of you were like, we got to get Dilla on, I'm like, hell yeah, that's the one. And I knew my experience with him would pay off in the way that I talked to him, because all I have to do is hit him with the thing and not say anything else, and he definitely would be able to deliver. But he made me so angry, quote unquote angry, air quote angry, when he talked about the University of Chicago almost going to Morgan Park. That's the thing that stands out to me the most. How close Hyde Park was to not being...
to getting outbid.
To not being what it is.
Yeah.
And what anybody, regardless of what anyone says, the reason why this neighborhood is the way it is because of the University of Chicago, without question. I lived in Morgan Park when I was a little kid. And I keep thinking about what Morgan Park could have been like had that university been there. So that was one of my favorites for real, but I know that was your favorite one.
I think we should actually listen to that as a kind of closer to kind of bring this whole show together. Let's listen to that segment about how he talks about Hyde Park almost not being.
Yeah. It's Sherman Dilla Thomas. My man. Thank you, brother, for being on the show on Randomly Selected.
You know, it's a classic Chicago story, right? One dude's hustle really got, you know, the whole town going. Paul Cornell, right? How it beat out Morgan Park to win University of Chicago. Morgan Park came this close to have. I mean, it got really, really close. They had the former Bible school. The Bible school started in Morgan Park. They moved it when Morgan Park lost to Hyde Park, right? And you know, it's Chicago, so there was some bribery and there was some of that. so that's how John Harper Rainey got to school here. So just that, but also like after Abraham Lincoln got assassinated, this is where his family lived. A lot of people don't know that, right?
I didn't know that.
See, yeah. So his son, the only son to live into adulthood, Robert Todd Lincoln, went on to become the president. First, he was the lawyer for the Pullman Train Car Company, general counsel.
Okay.
And then when George Pullman died, he ran the company for a really long time. His mother lived here. You know, they were here during the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. They were just in Hyde Park. They were some of the families that took in refugees. So Hyde Park did that. Hyde Park was super racist. You know, when it set itself up, it had a racial covenant. African Americans couldn't own property in 90% of the blocks here. But during the Great Fire, Hyde Park people took in Irish immigrants, some black people that were displaced, and that's something that wasn't common then, right? So it has a mixed history, very very innovative, right? And then the university itself, right? It gives the world the Department of Sociology as a school of thought, like nowhere on earth had thought to study people socially before University of Chicago did. It also created learning disability as a phrase. But then for the people at the school tell me they don't do it anymore, but forever and a day, every incoming freshman was told don't cross Cottage Grove. You know?
I'm sure they still do that.
You know, but that's so hurtful though to the surrounding area too. But so that's what drew me to Hyde Park, and it's the most integrated neighborhood in Chicago.
Thank you for checking out this flashback edition of Randomly Selected that we will call episode 0 instead of 21. The 21st episode of Randomly Selected will be with Marcellus.
Marcellus, man.
Y'all not ready.
Man, look, that was
Y'all not ready for this.
One of those episodes where you end up laughing in the background and you're caught on the mic.
That's the first time I think that you got caught.
Probably. I couldn't hold it. Dude he is a bag of energy,
Man,
and he is hilarious, and he will take you on a roller coaster of emotions in this episode. I promise you.
Yeah, you're gonna enjoy it. It'll be out on the 15th.
Yes.
Of this month.
Yes.
But I just wanna. Well, you go first.
No, man, thank you for trusting me. Thank you, Eric Williams. Thank you, Silver Room. To the unofficial official mayor of Hyde Park, Mario Smith. I appreciate you. We've bonded in this little room, a lot this year, and we've had some amazing guests and a lot of energy exchange, which has been a blessing. So I appreciate you, man. On to season 2, season 1 in the books.
For sure. And shout out to Rhyme Fest as well, because
Rhyme Fest.
Yeah,
oh my goodness.
And I think
he's walking with lions.
I saw that. Yes, I did.
And wifey are out there with lions right now.
I saw that.
It's incredible.
I'll tell you a real quick story about Fest, really, really quick. And it's not about Fest, it's about his son. His son works where I work. He works security.
Okay.
And one of the other guards was like, you know his father, man. You know his father. And I'm like, I'm not sure if I do. And then I looked at his son. I remember when he was a little boy. And I looked at him and I was like, I know your dad, dude. And we started talking. And I know that seeing him in those pictures in the past couple of days on Instagram, on Fest's page, is a big deal. So shout out to my man Ryan Fest.
That was an amazing interview,
my brother,
too, man.
And that was a really good
8
interview.
8 o'clock on a Sunday morning. They had just come back into town.
He kicked it hard.
He gave us an exclusive freestyle, which you could check out on Randomly Selected page.
I think that's how we ended with his freestyle.
But we should just bust that freestyle out as the ending.
But I do want to say I appreciate being asked to do this. This is something that Silver Room Radio and Silver Room, the podcast and all that stuff was something that Eric and I used to talk about years ago. How do you make that happen? Eric, you need to have, if there's going to be Sirius XM, Silver Room needs to have some kind of media presence. Little did I know it would turn into this. This has been a challenge and fun at the same time. It hasn't been work. It's been real easy for me to get here. I hop on the bike, park it where I can see it. We talk to people. I leave. And then there's other things that we end up doing during the week that you all don't know about. And then you hear it. And so for me, I want to thank you for trusting me and making it real easy to do what we do. And knowing when I'm saying this in the mic, I listen to you when you're like, that shit sucked. Do it again. And I go, okay, fine. And then I nail it and I do it. And and to Angela for these beautiful pictures that she takes and for her input. It's really like a 4-man crew. And to the fourth man, Eric, thank you, man. I am forever in your debt, brother. You know that. I really appreciate the opportunity and your input too, because God knows you will tell me if it wasn't good. And you'll tell me if it was good. And I appreciate that.
Yes,
to say that Silver Room is not a major part of my life is a dumbass thing to say. It is. So I am very grateful. And to the folks who listen, this isn't an easy thing to say, but it is really hard to get people to buy in, right? And you all bought in. But we need you to tell the others, man. Tell folks about us. There are a lot of people who are podcasting who are on straight gibberish, and we're not. And what we're trying to do is give you an alternative to a lot of the gibberish. It's been a fun ride. I'm telling you, though, it starts off with a bang on January 15th. And we hope that you all are here with us. Randomly selected, powered by the Silver Room, to everyone affiliated with Silver Room. Thank you all so much for supporting this project. It's not over. We got episodes to go. And we're going to end this one with another one of my favorites and with a really dope freestyle and some words from Rhyme Fest. Thanks for listening, y'all. See you soon. Peace.
So it's like, I was focused, I was selfish, I was trying to get mine right. My daughter started dating, now I can't get my mind right. She was only 9, wait, now she a mom height. How do a father tell his girls bye on prom night? See, precious time is finite, and assholes only get the point in hindsight. Lemon head niggas only looking for limelight. In the year of return, I'll return to the crime site. On the Gold Coast, out in Cape Coast, saw the same folks, the same notes from the bottom of slave boats. Felt the Holy Ghost blowing to my face like, the world is mine, everything was paid for. And now I gotta do it again like, da-na-na-na-na-na-na-na, da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da-da. Like, I gotta figure it, but I need to figure out where I'm going with it, cause it's like on the Gold Coast, out in Cape Coast, saw the same folks, the same notes from the bottom of slave boats. Felt the Holy Ghost blowing to my face like, the world is yours, everything was paid for. But I just feel like I completed the point.
Yes, you did.
But the beat keep going.
Yes, it does.
the spirit wants some more.
It wants some more.
Like,
That's that. You don't need my help. That's brilliant. I'm good. I'm not gonna ruin your piece.
I'll figure it out. I gotta go home. I got raps to write, bro.
That's what it is. That's what it is.
But you know, look, bro. Think about this. I practice the craft of writing raps, not because I'm trying to put something out to make money, but because I enjoy doing it. So when I put something out, whatever it brings to me is a bonus piece of fruit. And I think if more artists looked at our art like something we love to do, not something that's not working hard enough for us, I think we get more out of art.